Rifles. They're one of the most iconic tools in firearm history. Whether you're into hunting, sport shooting, or home defense, chances are you've looked into owning one. But not all rifles are created equal. Some are dangerously unreliable. And some, honestly, they should have never made it past the design phase. In this video, we're going to break down 10 rifles you should never buy. And trust me, it's not just about performance. It's about safety, durability, hidden flaws. Let's get into it. Number 10, the Bushmaster Carbon 15 is often marketed as a lightweight alternative to traditional AR-15 rifles, utilizing carbon fiber reinforced polymer for its upper and lower receivers. This design choice significantly reduces the rifle's weight, making it appealing for those seeking a more portable firearm. However, one of the primary issues reported with the Carbon 15 is its durability. While the polymer construction contributes to its lightness, it may not withstand the same level of stress and impact as traditional aluminum receivers. Users have reported instances of cracks and reliability problems like failure to extract spent casings and unrepairable by the manufacturer. Additionally, the rifle's compatibility with standard AR-15 components is limited. The unique design of the Carbon 15 means that certain aftermarket parts and accessories may not fit or function correctly. This can be a significant drawback for users who wish to customize or upgrade their rifles. But during a rapid fire, it can mess with accuracy after just 10 to 15 rounds. While some folks do enjoy its light feel and handling, the concerns around durability, compatibility, and reliability definitely make it a research before you buy kind of rifle. Number 9. The Ruger Model 44, also known as the Deerstalker, was introduced in 1961 as a semi-automatic carbine chambered in .44 Magnum. Designed for short-range deer hunting, it featured a gas-operated rotating bolt action and a 4-round tubular magazine. While it gained popularity among hunters for its compact size and manageable recoil, several issues have been reported over the years. One notable problem is the gas system's susceptibility to fouling, especially when using lead bullets. The accumulation of lead and powder residue can cause the gas piston to seize, leading to cycling issues. Few users describe their experience with a frozen gas piston that wouldn't budge despite various cleaning attempts. Additionally, I feel the rifle can have issues with ammunition. Some owners have reported feeding and ejection problems, particularly when using non-jacketed bullets. The gas system's design makes it sensitive to the type of ammunition used, and deviations from recommended loads can make it worse. As parts for the Model 44 are long out of production, finding replacements can be challenging and repairs are often unsatisfactory. Number 8. The Remington 700. It is one of the most iconic bolt-action rifles ever made. It's been around since 1962, used by hunters, target shooters, and even the military. It's got accuracy, it's got history, but if yours was made before 2014, we might need to talk. See, the problem lies in the X-Mark Pro trigger, particularly models manufactured before the 2014 recall. A huge number of rifles were built with a trigger system that could fire without the trigger actually being pulled. There were hundreds of reports over the years, some of which involved serious injury and even deaths. It got so serious that there was a full investigation, and Remington ended up facing multiple lawsuits and a class action settlement. Now, Remington did recall millions of rifles and offered a free fix. But not everyone turned theirs in. A ton of pre-2014 rifles are still out there in circulation, unmodified. So, if you pick one up secondhand and it hasn't had the trigger replaced or inspected, you're basically rolling the dice every time you take the safety off. Many shooters still defend the pre-2014 Remington 700, claiming it has the best triggers and blaming accidental discharges on user error. But the lawsuits prove the trigger had serious flaws. While newer models are safer, older ones should be inspected. Number 7. The Winslow Rifles. To be clear, owning a Winslow rifle is like owning a classic Ferrari. You'll impress your friends, but you don't want to drive it every day. It's a showpiece, not a workhorse. And for that reason, unless you're collecting for display, you might want to skip this one. They were built mostly in the mid-20th century. These rifles were marketed toward wealthy sportsmen with craftsmanship that aimed to rival the best European gunsmiths. They were essentially works of art, but when it comes to functionality and long-term reliability, that's where things get complicated. For starters, a lot of Winslow rifles were built on surplus military actions, like the Mauser 98, which aren't inherently bad, but once you start customizing the heck out of them, tolerances can get weird. Some models had rechambered barrels and heavily modified triggers that, while elegant, weren't always practical or consistent. There are reports of extraction problems, stiff bolts, and in some cases, sketchy chamber pressures because of these modifications. And maintenance? Personally, it's a nightmare. Because each rifle is so uniquely built, finding replacement parts or gunsmiths is incredibly difficult. Plus, if something goes wrong, good luck trying to prove a defect or get service. Number 6. Let's move on. And this one? It's kind of a heartbreaker. The Winchester Model 94 post 1964. Sounds classic, right? Like something your grandpa would pass down with a wink and a story. But if that Model 94 was made after 1964, it probably isn't the heirloom you think it is. See, pre-1964, Model 94s? Gorgeous, smooth, built with that old school finesse. But after 64, Winchester had a full-on identity crisis. They cut corners, swapped milled parts for stamped ones, changed the receivers, and honestly, it started to feel more like a budget knockoff than a legendary lever gun. I know. Some folks still swear by them. They'll say things like, "It still shoots fine." But come on. When the action feels like scraping gravel and the finish looks like it gave up halfway through production, it's hard not to notice. The buttery smooth lever throw is also gone and is replaced with a clunky, awkward cycle. Now, you clean it up, swap out parts, polish things, but by the time you invest that kind of money and effort, you might as well have just hunted down a pre-64 gem. So if you're eyeballing one of these at a pawn shop, maybe keep walking. Number 5. Now let's talk about the Century Arms C39V2, the American-made AK that should have been a beast, but turned out to be more bark than bite. Firstly, the C39V2 looks like the total package. It's got a milled receiver, no stamped parts, and it just feels solid, like a tank. People pick it up and think, yeah, this thing's built to last. But once you put rounds through it, the cracks start to show, literally. One of the biggest red flags, soft metal in critical parts. The bolt lugs and trunnions wear down way too fast, and if you've spent any time around AK platforms, you know that's a huge reliability issue. Some users reported wear and headspace problems with fewer than 1,000 rounds. To be clear, not every C39V2 fails. Some people get lucky with a well-made one that runs fine. But the inconsistency is the issue, and on top of that, quality control is all over the place. You might get a clean shooter, or you might get one with a misaligned gas block, poor fitment, or premature wear. It's just too hit or miss. So yeah, it's a pretty face, but there are better AKs out there, ones that were actually built for battle. And if someone still wants to run a C39V2, cool, just know what you're getting into. Number 4, the Savage Model 340 is a classic, no-frills bolt-action rifle that definitely earned its place as a budget-friendly deer camp staple. A lot of folks have memories with it, and that nostalgia, totally valid. But from a modern shooter's perspective, it shows its age. The bolt isn't the smoothest out there, and the extractor can sometimes feel a little underwhelming. Accuracy is fine for casual hunting, but if you're used to precision setups, the rear-locking lugs and heavier trigger might feel like a step back, and unless you've got one of the drilled and tapped versions like iron sights or own a drill press, it's a hassle. And it might be a decent option for someone who appreciates its simplicity. Harmless if it works, but why settle? Number 3, Sporterized World War II, Arisaka. If you ask me, it's like finding a vintage love letter that someone tried to rewrite with a crayon. The original Arisakas? Chef's kiss. Seriously underrated, overbuilt, wartime beasts that could take a beating and still hit dead on. But the moment people started hacking them up, swapping parts, drilling random scopes, rechambering with mystery ammo, they kind of lost their soul and their safety. And I wouldn't trust one of those Frankensteined Sporter Arisakas unless a pro gunsmith has given it a clean bill of health. Some of them have dangerous head spacing, mismatched bolts, or have been rechambered to rounds they were never meant to fire. That's not just sketchy, that's a possible trip to the ER. I get the appeal. Vintage wood, military history, rugged vibes. But personally, I'd keep one only if I knew exactly what was done to it, or I'd hang it on a wall as a historical piece. Number 2. Now let's talk about the Winchester Model 100. It's a slick little semi-auto deer rifle from the 60s. Lightweight, clean lines, and honestly, it's got that old-school charm. But it hides a deadly little secret under the hood. The firing pin. Yeah, that tiny piece of metal ruined the party. Early versions had a nasty tendency to break or get stuck, and when that happened, the rifle could slam fire, as in, you close the bolt, and boom, it fires on its own. No trigger pull, no warning. Winchester had to issue a recall for tens of thousands of these just to keep people safe. And even if it's been repaired, there's always that whisper of what if when you chamber a round. So yeah, it might look good in Grandpa's gun cabinet, but if I'm taking something into the woods, I want it to be reliable. Number 1. Now on to the last one, the Ross rifle. This one's like dating a guy who looks like royalty but can't change a tire. Canadian made, used in World War I, is praised for its accuracy, but only in theory. In clean conditions, the Ross rifle could shoot with amazing accuracy. But when you take it out into the trenches, it turns into a nightmare. It jammed constantly when exposed to dirt or mud, and its overly complicated bolt design made things worse. Soldiers could accidentally reassemble it the wrong way, and if they did, the bolt could shoot back into their face when firing. It's got history, sure, but trust me, I'd never want my hands or face anywhere near one unless it's bolted to a museum wall. So, yeah, some of these rifles might have had their glory days, but when you see the safety risks, they're just not worth the trouble. And if one of your favorites made this list, don't come for me. I'm not trashing your memories, just laying down the facts the way I see them. No fluff, no sugarcoat. And like, share, and subscribe. Stay sharp, stay picky, and don't let nostalgia cloud your aim.